Welcome family, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Authentically Being Ava. I'm Ava. The narcissistic whisperer. I know that sounds insane. But family, I'm telling you, the things I have experienced, there is a reason for it. I'm really becoming clearer day by day about this. Having firsthand experience with narcissistic folks growing up, surrounded around me and my family and and various others. Not everybody's a narcissist, but I have had a lot of experience. I've had interesting behaviors that I really, honestly, truthfully could not explain. Thought, wow, this person is unique and interesting and different and has their own flavor. But then I started to see similarities in behavior between different people. And time went on and I started to read books about abusive behavior. I just couldn't put my finger on it. I had no idea what being a narcissist was. Back in the day when I was growing up and becoming a young lady and developing into who I am, I figured people had some types of disorders and all that stuff, but I just had no idea what it was. And although there are other disorders, this one in particular is one that strikes me the most because a lot of the traits I am used to being around, I'm used to experiencing with people. That leads me into my topic today. So, one thing that I have come to understand about people that have this type of a disorder or carry traits of it, you can't tell them anything about your experience of their behavior. They just don't get it. It's like they block it out. And no matter how much you explain to them about anything that you see, everything is shut down. It's a lie, you're mistaken, you're overreacting, you're overanalyzing, you're making too much out of it, It's just like, I'm supposed to sit down and just see all of this crazy behavior and just say nothing, which is dysfunctional in itself. Let me just say this. I thank God for therapy, that I have been to therapy and am still going to therapy. I've learned quite a bit. I've read a lot of books and I've gotten an understanding about my experience. I've done a lot of studying on the subject because it was such a sore spot in my life. I totally was not understanding what I was experiencing from this particular person. I really just thought they were a rageaholic and just up and down, happy, sad, angry, belligerent, all of these things. And then in denial, that is a major part. Okay, so let me just get straight to why I'm doing this video today. This was someone that I recently came back in touch with. Didn't really get to know them the first time around, but remembered them from way back in the day. So getting to know them, their background, things they experienced, we both shared some things. So I got an understanding of what was going on there. I said that I had been through therapy and was still going through therapy. I don't know, for some people, they just kind of look at you like, like something's wrong, Most of us, being honest, Authentically Being Ava is the name of the channel. Most of us have been through some type of trauma in life. Everybody has a story, or two, or three. And most of us have learned to bury our feelings, not really dealing with them, of what happened to us. That can be in the form of holding stuff in, just acting like it didn't happen, which can create disease and issues within the body. I don't think a lot of people really get that or understand that. It can lead to weight gain, while people are overweight, got these fat stomachs, and, eating unhealthy because they're trying to eat their problems away. They're trying to eat the pain away. The point I'm making is, when you don't deal with problems, issues, things that you have been through, they will sit in your body and become physical issues, arthritis, gout, cancer. These are proven facts. Not only that, but then you have these mental hang-ups and mindsets that are irrational and unfounded, and it's, and just these weird behaviors. Like what I'm talking about, about with this just being angry and short-tempered and, all of that stuff, So all of that comes from pain and hurt and trauma that has not been processed or healed, has not been discussed. And like I said, mostly everybody has trauma that they can talk about, that they can remember. It's there in their brain. They carry it with them everywhere they go. And I think a lot of people kind of try to fool themselves into thinking, oh, I'm doing great. Look how successful I am. Look at what I have accomplished in my life. That means that somehow that pain didn't happen, or you've overcome it. Meanwhile, you're developing issues in your body health-wise because you haven't dealt with it. Some people don't get that connection, but there definitely is a connection. We all need to deal with what's been eating at us our whole lives. Everybody's got a story. And I think somehow, some people, and mainly this person I'm about to talk about, thinks that success trumps everything. Or think that their life is fine, it's gravy, in spite of what has happened. And I think it's a beautiful thing to have accomplished a lot of great things in your life where you can see the benefits of what you've done. But the point I'm making is that if you don't get that thing right within you, that issue, that problem that you've had all this time, what is it all for? And a lot of times people are in denial about certain things, like this particular person. I was trying to speak to him about some things of his behavior, some things that I felt was a little bit rude, a little bit harsh. And instead of him hearing what I was saying, he was dismissive to me. And I just thought, huh? Like, who does that? Like, who dismisses a whole entire statement, a conversation about something that you did? I've never, well, I have. I have heard this before. But it had just taken me aback because on all other levels, he seemed cool. But again, I was trying to address something, a tone. His tone changed. He got angry, and I could tell he was getting mad. And I was like, why are you getting mad? Like, what's going on? Because, and I'm like, ooh. Like, we're not even yelling. Like, why are you blowing up? Why are you getting that angry about something like this? So, and something like this is me telling you about something that you've done that hurt my feelings. When people tell you to stop talking because you're not telling the truth about how you feel. I mean, this is literally what he said to me. I told him that something that hurt my feelings and how he said things was, really rude. I could get if we were arguing, our voices escalated. That makes sense. But, and I'm like, hey, I'm still here, right here at the same tone. What is going on? Why are you so angry? Like, this is an attempt to discuss this thing, to figure it out and work it out and to move past it. But instead of us working it out and figuring it out, it became blame. We totally dismissed what I said, told me to stop talking. Now, to me, when someone tells you to stop talking, that's telling me to shut up. But he went into, I never told you to shut up. I never said shut up. I'm like, you're telling me to stop talking. It's telling me to shut up, to be quiet. But I didn't say those words. I'm like, what is going on here? The fact that you're telling me to stop talking to you about me telling you about my experience with you, and like I said, it took me right back to, I've been here before. I recognize the behavior. That coupled with our conversations about life and the things that we've been through and discussed and the things that he shared with me, which I'm not going into, I got the picture. There's trauma. There's trauma there. He could not apologize. He was never wrong. He didn't feel he was wrong. Look, he told me, I told him that something hurt my feelings. He's like, no, I didn't say it like that. That didn't hurt your feelings. I'm not accepting that. I'm like, how are you telling me how I feel or how I'm supposed to feel about something that you said? How is that normal? And when I started pointing out things that I guess he didn't want to hear, now it's, are you still in therapy? Because I think you need to go. I'm like, we're having a conversation about your actions and things that you've said, how you said it, and I'm just showing you you. And this is something that narcissistic people cannot handle, and that's hearing about themselves. It's like they are in complete denial. They will tell you that you are lying about what you're saying. The denial is so great that they're telling you you're lying. What benefit is it to me to come to you and lie about something that you said? We're just getting to know each other. I'm just starting to see how you are as a person, and I can't just sit here and let stuff go and just not address it. So I'm like, as stuff happens, I need to address it right then and there. He felt like I was over analyzing him. His exact words were, why are you making a big deal out of this? We're fine. Things are going great. Why are you making a big deal? I said, so I'm supposed to stop talking altogether. I'm supposed to feel pain or hurt and hold it in and act like it's no big deal and just move on. I said, that's dysfunctional. Who does that? Who holds in pain? And I just thought, maybe he does. Maybe that's a coping mechanism for him. But I said, that's not healthy. That's not, you don't hold stuff in. You talk about it. You discuss it. That's how you get sick. That's how you start having issues in your body, breakdowns in your body, because you're holding in stuff. That's why this person is a rageaholic. You have been holding in stuff that is just bursting out of you. It's like, that's just how I am. I'm like, oh, okay. And I said, this behavior is very familiar to me. Look, I already talked to him about a family member that, I experienced that type of behavior with, and he was like, oh, I'm not like that. Oh, I'm not. I was just like, I was basically dismissed, from his life, and that's fine, because I knew that it wasn't going to work out for me either. A person who is at peace with themselves, genuinely at peace, not sitting down watching TV by yourself and it's quiet. I mean, genuinely at peace within. They're not gonna pop hot and be blowing up over a question or a statement about something about their behavior or something that they've done. It was amazing having the conversation, and everything was deflected right back on me. I just thought, wow, I'm just hoping in the end that he heard me. And with the most people that like this, they don't. They don't. They look at you like you're the problem and, all of that. But I said, I'm able to be self-reflective, because of what I have experienced growing up and who I was around, which was a rageaholic. I got to do some self-reflection. I'm like, is it me? Am I doing something? So I'm constantly observing my behavior and looking at what I'm doing and saying, and is it the reason why? And because, like I said, as a child, when you have a parent or a loved one who is going off on you and making you feel like you are, XYZ, yeah, you're going to start to look within. You're going to feel self-esteem issues. You're going to think they're the cause. But like I said, thank God that I was able to go through therapy and talk it out and get reinforcement that, no, in this case, that's not you. That's them. And this is why. I got the correct view of what I was looking at. I got to see how things are supposed to be, as opposed to what this person was displaying to me and making me feel. I can look at things objectively. I can look at them from both sides. And I feel like I'm at my healthiest because of the therapy and reading books. However, this person, he wants to tell me that I need to continue in therapy. And it's amazing how some people's mindsets, where they are, because a lot of people unfortunately think that you have a problem because you've decided to seek therapy. And what the real truth is that there's so many broken people out here who have not been through therapy, who are stitched up and bandaged up. They got a Band-Aid here, they got a wound here, they got a paper clip in it, like there's wounds all over the place, that have not been healed, that are wide open. And they are just managing and coursing through their life, trying to make it by. One more thing and they about to explode. That's not living. That's not happiness, and that's not peace. And I can understand the pain because I have been there and I've seen it. But yeah, it was like, well, you take care because you keep going through therapy because you great, I was just like, alrighty, you take care too. It's nothing that I can really do with that, but yeah, family, it's, it's saying a lot when you can see the stuff that you've been through, put it out there on the table, look at that mess, and own your part in it, because more than likely, none of it had nothing to do with you. It wasn't your fault. The first step is acknowledgement. Just being able to say, I've been through some mess, and I think I need to sit down and talk to somebody, a professional. The best thing that I ever did in my life is I have peace. I have so much peace now. I am so silly. I still have things that I deal with that I'm working through. It's just life, but I have that stuff maintained and figured out, healed. I'm still healing, but it's just, it's a journey, family. It's a journey. Maybe this has helped you some. Give me a thumbs up, to let me know that this reached you. Thank you for watching. Take care. Love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video.